Did you know that most people are sleep deprived or functionally drunk? Are you? Well, the CDC defines that 1 in 3 adults don't get enough sleep. If you are getting less than 7 hours consistently every night, you are chronically sleep deprived. I didn't fully understand the importance of sleep and sleep quality until I heard this. Did you know that your brain without sleep functions similarly to having a blood alcohol level of 0.05 to 0.1%? And the legal limit for drinking is 0.08%. So yes, you are functionally drunk when sleep deprived. You're slower, foggier, moodier, and make worse decisions. The craziest thing about our modern society is you think all of this is normal. You think that you're supposed to feel this way. I have news for you. There are multiple reasons why the majority of us are sleep deprived. And it starts with diet. And while there are many dietary factors that can affect your sleep in a negative way, the biggest ones are sugar and carb intake. Now, I am an ultra runner, and I need both of these things, especially during my races, in order to keep my energy up and actually complete a 12+ hour race. But even on a training day when I'm running 20 miles, I should not be eating sugar after I run. So it's not just diet, it is when you are eating these things. Now, sugar specifically, I have an entire podcast episode about why sugar is killing you. So you should definitely check out that episode. You're only supposed to have somewhere between 25 to 35 grams of sugar per day. 25 if you are a woman, 35 if you are a man. With that being said, you should really be having max 10 grams of processed sugar per day or less. Even me as an ultra runner with asthma, I should be managing the amount of processed sugar I have during races. For me, when I have sugar from fruit, I feel way better than if I have a healthy bar with added sugar. Sugar is the biggest offender of why our country and our world is sleep deprived. Because when sugar isn't used, it does one of two things. It either gets stored as fat in your body or bounces around your bloodstream. For me, if I have sugar in the second half of the day, I feel my heart rate beating faster, especially when I'm laying down, when I'm trying to sleep. Sugar hides in things. When you eat certain types of food that aren't necessarily desserts, sugar may be present. The other day, my significant other and I went out for Chinese food. And we ate it actually relatively early, around 4:30 or 5 p.m. The problem was we got a lot of sweet and sour chicken, sesame chicken, and a couple other dishes. Added sugar is in these dishes. I slept terribly that night. I barely got any sleep. And you know, the crazy thing is you normalize this. I have normalized this in the past. My heart rate is beating. I'm not getting deep sleep. I'm not dreaming. I feel tired the next day. I was in bed for 8 hours, but I feel tired. We normalize this. Sugar hides in places. Now, carbs work the same way. Carbs are not as bad as sugar for sleep deprivation. A couple days ago, I had a carb-heavy dinner, whole grain pasta. And my sleep wasn't terrible. It wasn't as bad as when I had that sugar-heavy meal for dinner. But I still felt my heart rate elevated. At night, you want your heart rate to be at its lowest. My resting heart rate is between 35 and 40 beats per minute. I'm an ultra runner, so my resting heart rate is very low. When you're sleeping, you want your heart rate to be low because your body needs to relax. Well, when you have sugar, pumping through your system, when you have carbs metabolizing into sugar, your sleep is negatively affected. And both of these things negatively affect your REM and deep sleep, which are the most important parts of your sleep. Processed fats, really fatty food, eating fast food in the evening, eating fast food super late at night. I don't know about you, but even to this day, I crave getting fries or getting really unhealthy Mexican food or a burger at night. And I tell myself, do you want a couple minutes of pleasure eating that thing? Or 7, 8, 9 hours of amazing sleep? I value my sleep so much that that is enough for me to avoid these things at night. I don't always get it right, but my sleep has been so much better since I've done the things I'm going to share later in the podcast. I can stop being sleep deprived and functionally drunk. Number 2, screen addiction. This one's pretty obvious, and we still spend way too much time on our screens. Here's why screen addiction is bad. Blue light is not good for your eyes. And from a sleep perspective, blue light suppresses melatonin, which your body creates to help sleep. Blue light suppresses it. Blue light also really activates our eyes. So if you're looking at your screens, your phones, up until going to bed, if you're watching Netflix, watching whatever your favorite streaming service is, watching YouTube, all the way up to going to bed, you are impacting your sleep negatively. Doom scrolling is obviously bad. I have so many friends that tell me, I didn't sleep well last night, and it's probably because I was doom scrolling late into the night, and then I finally put my phone away, and then I went to bed, and then I actually woke up at 3 in the morning and grabbed my phone again and started scrolling more. When we struggle with sleep, we grab our phones and hope that that's going to distract us enough or tire us out, and then we're just up all night. Doom scrolling increases cortisol. There are healthy levels of cortisol that we need, but doom scrolling is not a natural thing. So when you increase cortisol and you decrease melatonin, you are setting yourself up for poor sleep in any given night. Next, alcohol. If you've been watching my content, you know my stance on alcohol is. I enjoy having fun with alcohol just as much as the next person. And I still haven't drank for 10 months. And I'm going at least 13 months without drinking because I have a race coming up, and I always cut alcohol completely out of my life for at least 3 to 4 months before a race. I've had a lot of races recently, and I wanted to try not drinking for a year. Alcohol, even a little bit, can completely wreck your sleep. Remember what's in alcohol or in alcoholic beverages. There's typically sugar, carbs. So that alone, if there was nothing else in alcohol, the fact that sugar and carbs are in alcohol, and alcohol is typically consumed in the back half of the day, sometimes after dinner even, which is another crazy thing. I've been talking to my family a lot lately about the fact that in our culture, the most likely time for people to eat dessert is after dinner, which is crazy to me. Same thing with alcohol. It's actually looked down upon drinking alcohol in the morning. I'm not saying you should drink alcohol in the morning. I'm just saying that you should probably eat that massive piece of tiramisu for breakfast and have a glass of wine with it for breakfast, because at least you're going to have all day to burn it. Now, you shouldn't do that. No one should be drinking starting at breakfast. That's the crazy thing about this, is the whole situation, the whole cultural situation with sugar, with carbs, with alcohol, is bad for our sleep. So along with the sugar and carb aspect of alcohol, and the crazy thing about alcohol, you wine lovers, you one beer a night lovers out there, anyone who says, oh, I just have one drink a night. Here's the crazy thing. Even one drink can decrease your deep sleep, wait for it, deep sleep by, guess how much? 40%. One drink. One drink. You add a second drink, a third drink, a fourth drink, how are you going to sleep at all? So now you're drunk, you don't sleep, and the next day you're functionally drunk. This is why I don't drink for 3 to 4 months before a race, because the benefits of sleep, of recovery, of rejuvenation, longevity. Brian Johnson, the billionaire behind the Don't Die movement, focuses on sleep. That's his #1 thing. And I love that. It makes it so non-billionaires, non-millionaires, middle-class, poor people, whoever you are, you can at least take steps towards better sleep. When you have better sleep, your body, mind, spirit, everything functions better. But Johnny, when I have alcohol, I tend to fall asleep faster. Yes, and that is one of the fallacies of alcohol, is people think that having a little bit of alcohol can help them sleep better. But your body doesn't recover. You don't get deep sleep. So yes, you will fall asleep faster. And you won't recover. You won't actually sleep. Last one. I'm gonna be the bad guy one more time. Caffeine. And you know this already. Caffeine, half-life of 6 to 8 hours, even a cup at noon can mess with sleep at 10 p.m. The cool thing though, is if you fix all this and you start sleeping better, you're not gonna need caffeine. It's an endless cycle. You sleep poorly, so what do you need? You need caffeine, so you can function properly. And then that caffeine, if it's drank too late in the day, so anytime after noon, or if you drink too much of it in the morning, it is an endless cycle. It would continuously mess up your sleep over and over and over and over again. So what can you do? Well, here is how I have optimized my sleep naturally, along with being aware of all these things. Here's what I do. First, cut the triggers. This means no sugar, alcohol, or caffeine. But Johnny, I want to enjoy life. Me too, but I also don't want to spend tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars on healthcare in the future. So I want to enjoy life now and when I'm 80 years old and not be completely broke because of all the health problems I have, because I have type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, neurodegenerative diseases, cancer. Cancer metabolizes sugar or eats 10 times more sugar than normal cells. Cancer cells love sugar. That means cancer cells also love alcohol. Crazy. Eat dinner early. Brian Johnson of Don't Die and Blueprint, his last meal is around 11 a.m. He goes to bed at 8:30 p.m., 9.5 hours before bed. I would love to be there someday. I'm not there right now. I have an alarm on my phone that goes off at 6:45 p.m., telling me to stop eating by 7 p.m. Now, a month or two ago, my alarm was at 7:45 and I would stop eating at 8. The problem is I would miss that and I'd be 8:15, 8:30. If I miss 7, I'm still okay if I eat at 7:30. Now, I'm best if I finish eating at 6:30 or 7. The advice out there is you want to fast for 3+ hours before bed. I really think that you need at least 3 hours. I know I sleep better when it's 4. So at least get 3 hours of fasting before bed. And this doesn't include sugar, caffeine, or alcohol for that matter. Not saying 3 to 4 hours of fasting from those things before bed. You need a lot more time. And that brings me to my next point. Optimize your day. Here's what I do. I am a human, which means that even though I don't eat much processed sugar, I still like it. I love ice cream. So what do? If I know I'm going to eat processed sugar, I love ice cream. Costco soft serve ice cream, best thing ever. Not for you, but it tastes so good. I'll eat the sugar and then work out. So instead of the sugar bouncing around in my system, I'm burning it. Plan indulgences based on daily activity. Same with carbs. I can eat a pasta and burn it on a run. But if I eat carbs at the end of the day, there's nothing to burn it with. I've been training for a 12-hour endurance race right now, where I'm actually running overnight. And some of my training is at night. And to be fair, another piece here is you want to work out earlier in the day. So you want to work out because that promotes sleep. And you want to work out earlier in the day. Working out at 8 p.m. isn't conducive to an optimized sleep routine. Working out early to late afternoon or earlier is much more conducive. For me, if I know that I'm going to eat carbs or sugar later in the day, it's just how things are happening. Or if I know that I'm going to do a night run at like 8, 9 p.m., then I'm okay with having carbs and sugar, well, carbs at least, later in the day. Think about what you're putting in your body as fuel. Know that sugar and carbs are fuel. And then do something to use the fuel after it, and you're going to help optimize your day for sleep. It is also important to get sunlight, especially earlier in the day. One thing I've been talking with Tatiana about lately is that I learned from her to naturally get up with the sun without an alarm. And I've just decided that in the winter, that means I'm going to get up a little later. In the summer, it means I'm going to get up earlier. It means that I may be up longer in the summer and shorter in the winter. But following the natural phenomenon of the environment can be very good for us. Now, if you live in Alaska, I don't expect you to stay up 24 hours that time of year and then stay asleep for all of winter. So this doesn't work then. Working out actually boosts the production of melatonin naturally in your body as well. So the key takeaway here is optimize your day for sleep. Planning your indulgences, working out, sunlight in the morning, and tech boundaries. This may be the biggest one, as we have a screen-addicted culture. What I have done is set my phone to grayscale, so I'm not getting blue light from my phone all day. There's some times when I need the color For example, when you're using your phone for GPS, it's a lot easier to do it when it's in color than in grayscale. It's a lot safer too. So I highly recommend that the grayscale aspect, be careful when you're using GPS navigation. Grayscale at night, at the very least, helps out so much. You can also set a setting on your phone that eliminates blue light at specific time of day. I have this set where my phone isn't set in grayscale. It automatically, I think around 5 or 6 p.m., goes into blue light elimination, which is conducive to sleep. Also, turn off all screens 1 hour or more before bed. Sometimes I sit and I look at the stars. We cuddle with our dog. Sometimes we just hang out and chat. Sometimes I read. Sometimes I journal. Sometimes I don't do this, but I at least stay off my phone. Or I actually have a TV I got back in college that doesn't have the crazy blue light emission that our new TVs have. So I'll watch TV on that. And I stay off my phone. I 100% stay off my phone 1 hour before bed. That's probably the most important thing here. And then keeping technology out of the bedroom. Sleep is the primary focus of the bedroom. Recently, we moved my desk out of the bedroom, all the screens out of the bedroom. Now our bedroom is light-free, technology-free. That alone has increased my sleep quality. Set up the bedroom for sleep. Last thing, natural sleep aids. I use chamomile or sleepy time tea, which has chamomile in it. I also take magnesium. Great for sleep, muscle recovery, digestion, a lot of different things. And 100% pure CBD. Gotta be careful. Even if there's trace amounts, small percentage amounts of THC can negatively impact your sleep. Biggest thing for me has been optimizing my day. Optimize your day, make sleep your job. Brian Johnson of Blueprint talks about sleep is the most important job you have because it empowers everything else. Now, I have a bonus for you for spending time with me today. And it is my 3 pillars of healthy living guide. Movement, tracking, and accountability. So when you're integrating this into your life, and I know you're going to start integrating at least one of these 4 things into your life today, and that is my hope for you, is that you start integrating one of these 4 things that you can do to improve your sleep so you can join the team of superhumans powered by high quality night's sleep. Well, while you're doing that, tracking becomes very important. So does accountability. And movement is the backbone of a lot of this optimization. You're moving so you don't have sugar hanging out in your body. Well, I want to help you integrate these pillars into your life, which is why I packaged them in my Healthy Living Guide, which you can grab in the show notes or in the YouTube description, or go to www.athletewithasthma.com/healthy-living-guide to grab your free copy today. It's going to take you less than 2 to 3 minutes to read through and start putting into your life immediately. I'll see you in the next episode.